Well, I just want this first video that I want to make to be raw. No script, no notes. And what I want to do is I want to make a voice for people who are actually left politically, um, but who can no longer even recognize the Democratic Party or what the mainstream, what we are flooded on media with that claim to be left. They're not left. They're not right. They're just wrong. And this has been a growing thing over the last 10 to 20 years. I'm a 40-ish uh, year old American. I'm a multi-citizen. I'm a citizen of more than just America. I'm a citizen of a European country as well. I'm currently living in Europe, but I really want to move back to the United States. I moved to Europe so that my daughter would grow up internationally, like I did, and learn new languages, live in different cultures. I've lived in over 15 countries myself as a as an immigrant, as a legal immigrant. I've been all over the world, uh, but I'm an American, and I've learned a lot about humanity and politics. I have a degree in politics, sociology. I understand what left actually means. I can define it. I understand the working models of it, of the left, the right, all, all the whole spectrum. And this is something that Americans don't understand because we're not taught this. Schools don't teach political science. Schools don't teach sociology. And so we have these labels that nobody understands what they actually mean. And we have a media that is constantly pushing lies on us and inciting division and hatred, all tied to stupid labels. And at the end of the day, I don't even like to call myself left, right, center, because when you're talking to people that don't even know what those definitions are, they're just labels that people are going to use to label you and divide each other. It's pointless. It's completely pointless. I mean, call myself up and you can call yourself down, or we'll switch. I'll be down and you can be up. Like, none of it matters when nobody understands what the hell ideology that they are supporting anyway. And at the end of the day, with all the media lies and the, let's call it fake news, which is another stupid label, but let's use it. It's all fake news. And I have this picture of PBS, well known as very left leaning. Well, again, what they called left, which isn't actually left, but they call it left. Uh, but what their ideology has become on the so-called left in the states has nothing to do with what left means in political science, what left actually is defined as in sociology. And that's why, like I said, I can't even recognize. I've been a Democrat most of my life. I'm no longer a Democrat. Um, I haven't been a Democrat for about what I think it's 2 terms now. I unregistered Democrat. Um, I think it was 2 terms ago, and I vote for people. I voted for Republicans and Democrats and Independents at this point for the last 12 years, and I vote for people who support what ideas I like. Simple as that. I don't care what party they're from. But anyway, I'm getting off topic, and like I said, I wanted this to be raw, so it's going to be one of those videos. I'm currently living in a European country where I don't have the freedom, the legal freedom, to have full, open freedom of speech. And I'm not sure if I really want to be a face on YouTube or a public figure. So that's something that I'm going to consider uh, as I do this project. But what I want to do here is I want to find people that uh, agree, but also disagree with the views that real left-leaning people have, because I think that it's important. The democracy itself depends on debate between sides. And there's currently no place for actually left people, civilized, American patriotic, um, people who love America, people who love Western civilization, people who would fight and die for Western civilization. I'm one of those people. And I've spent more than half of my adult life not living in Western civilization. I have an appreciation of Western civilization that few Americans have. I'm living in a country now that pretends to be Western, but they're not. And because in the country I'm living right now, we don't have full freedom of speech like we do in America. That's one of the reasons I'm using this camera filter, which probably doesn't matter anyway, but I need to consider things, family, safety, before I decide what to do with myself. But what I want to do in the meantime is start talking. I'm starting this channel after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and that's hit all of us very hard. And when I say all of us, I mean all of us who are left, center, right, doesn't matter. We are civilized Western people. We believe in Western civilization. We are members of Western civilization. And that means that no matter what our political beliefs, our beliefs on how the country we live in should be run, how society should be built, all of that depends on respecting each other's views. And as Charlie Kirk said, when discourse ends, violence begins. I'm not sure if I'm quoting him exactly there, but this man, who I disagree with on many topics, and I would have loved to debate him. Had I ever been in the States at a location where he was going to do an event, I would have absolutely gone and talked to him and debated with him. Unfortunately, I wasn't, and now I'll never get to do that. I am not on the same political side as Charlie Kirk. Well, I'd say 50-50, let's just say 50-50. At least 50% of the things that he believes in, I don't believe in. I disagree with him. But I admire him for being a civilized American, a civilized Western adult. I would fight and die for his right to say whatever he wants, because he says everything respectfully. He says everything with the exact same agenda and notion that I do, that I would want my fellow citizens to do. He's the neighbor that I would want to have, even though we disagree on at least 50% of our views. I'd be more than happy to hang over the fence and talk with him, barbecuing and letting our kids play together, even though we are, opposites in many issues. That's America. And it's breaking my heart to see him being killed by people who claim to be left. They're not left. They're not left, they're not right, they're just wrong. And one of the things I want to say here is this is the fault of, it's, I don't want to sit here and point fingers, but this is the fault of our media. Look at this. I'm just trying to pull up things here, you know. Democrats, left-wing media push Trump as a fascist like Hitler. This is why Charlie Kirk is dead. All of these people who are not civilized Westerners, who have infiltrated and taken control of the Democratic Party, the leftist organizations, the entire definition of left in America. They're not, as someone who has a degree in political science and sociology, I can give you textbook definitions of what left, center, right, everything are. I can't recognize this. I can't recognize these people or what they stand for or what they say. I can't recognize their behavior. As someone who's lived all over the world, who is a born American, and I understand from personal experience and from expertise the difference between a Western civilized democratic society and those that aren't, and societies that don't even understand what those concepts mean, which most of the planet Earth don't understand. Most of planet Earth doesn't understand the concepts of Western civilization: free speech, freedom, democracy, rights and responsibility. Most of planet Earth, most humans on Earth don't understand what those concepts are. And we're born into that. We get it for free. Well, not for free. But if we're born into a country like America or any of the other civilized Western democracies, we effectively get that card for free for being born there. And then we have to earn it our whole life. And that's why I need to do this, because I need to do my part to earn it. And I think we all need to do our part to earn it. So, for example, many of the details of Kirk's murder are unclear. A lot of people are lashing out at Democrats. This guy here, not sure who he is. Haven't heard of his name before. Rep Derek Van Orden, not sure what state he's a rep from. Lashed out at reporters, accusing every one of you of being responsible for Kirk's death. I agree. As someone who is, I fucking hate these labels. I really want all of us to get away from using these labels. But as someone who has been politically active since I was 16 years old, and I'm in my 40s now, politically active internationally, in America, all over the world, I don't recognize what America mainstream calls left. I don't. As someone who is actually a leftist, I believe in free speech and freedom and democracy. And Charlie Kirk was a martyr for us, no matter what side of the political spectrum that we come from or what we believe in. And there's no place for actual leftists, sane, civilized people who want to be part of a democracy and a debate on the future of our lives and our children's lives and our nation. There's nowhere for us anymore. There hasn't been for a long time. That's why I left the Democratic Party about 8 years ago, I think it was. And I hope to change that. And I hope hope to find other people that want to change that, because I know there's a lot of us in America that have just, I mean, what America is calling the left right now has literally only done one thing over the last 8, 12, 20 years. They've pushed all of us actual leftists to the right, not because we've moved, but because the goalposts have moved. They've moved the goalposts. The Democratic Party is now what I would call an Islamo-Nazi party. They have nothing to do with leftism. You know, it's like this Queers for Palestine insanity. In Muslim countries, I've lived in Muslim countries. I've been in many Muslim countries. I've lived with Islam. You have no rights. And if you're queer, they throw you off a rooftop. And there's people down below at the bottom of the building waiting with stones to stone you and finish you off. That's actually the law. That's not something that a lynch mob will do. That's something that the police will do to you in Gaza. That's why they say that the only gay bar in Gaza is the rooftop bar. The Arabs say that. They say that. You know, so this is the level of insanity that, and is just an example that I'm bringing up because I hope it's illustrative enough. But this is the level of insanity and immorality and logical failure that the so-called left is in America today. And there's many of us, many of us that cannot recognize that and cannot condone it or align ourselves with it. And we've been basically lost for a very long time. We don't know where to go. And so a lot of us are independent. I don't know. I don't know what a lot of us are doing. I'm sure that there's a lot of us that are just registered Democrats because you're either registered Democrat or registered Republican or unregistered. Those are the only options. And unregistered effectively means independent. I chose to become independent because I saw, more as a statement that I don't want my name on the registry of the Democratic Party. I did that about 8 years ago, I think. Because this is, it's unrecognizable. You know, the killing of Charlie Kirk will cost the Democratic Party in the next election. Many people are waking up and seeing how the left operates. They're already calling for Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh to be next online. I'm guessing he's saying next in line. They are disgusting. Next in line to be shot. The situation just radicalized a lot of folks, including me. You see, that's the problem. The Democratic Party needs to be abolished and banned for the dangerous rhetoric they push. I can't fully agree with you, but I do agree with you. I'd even go so far as declaring them a domestic terrorist organization and an enemy. Yeah, I mean, can't blame you for thinking that. Yeah. I mean, if we want to have a democracy, we need to have, why Charlie Kirk had no counterpart on the left. See, this is the problem. This is what I want to help fix, and I have no interest in being a public figure. I've been a public figure to some extent in my professional life. I don't want that. But I need to do something. We need to do something. Because a democracy, our great country, needs to have a healthy democracy. And I think that the right is very healthy right now. I'm glad for that. I'm glad that the right is healthy, and I think it's healthier than it's been in a long time. Um, and no, they are not fascists. I've lived in countries with authoritarianism. I've lived in countries with fascist politicians that are part of the actual political process, because that those countries are not demo- real democracies. They're quasi democracies, or just straight out not democracies at all. I've lived in kingdoms, monarchical kingdoms, which you could have, you know, which rule the military, which you can effectively, by definition, call to some extent fascist. Um, you, you Americans, my brothers and sisters out there, you don't know what that's like. Some of you do, I'm sure. Yeah, of course. The majority of you have no clue what that's like, and you have no clue what we have and what we're about to lose, because we can't, well, because we just feed on this bullshit that's being fed to us. And I get it. I consume the same stuff and it pisses me off. But I understand what pisses me off is that the media and a lot of the public figures are constantly pushing shit down our throats. And I know Americans. I've lived in many different states, many different cities. I was born in the States, and I've also met a lot of Americans outside of America, expats as well as tourists, everything. Um, we're good people, and that's something that not everyone in the world is. Not all societies are. Not all societies value right and wrong as much as we do. Not all societies value the moral questions the way we do. Um, first and foremost, I'm pro humanity, pro life, and I don't mean anything about the abortion stuff. I'm talking pro that life exists on planet Earth. That is my singular root that I base all of my beliefs on top of. If it's not good for life on Earth, I probably won't like it, because we are life on Earth. But this, something needs to be done here. And so what I want to do here is I want to honor a great brother that was slain. Charlie, I don't have your beliefs. Um, I mourn for you. I mourn for your wife and kids. I'm going to try not to cry again now. We've lost a brother. And I would have loved to debate you. I would have loved to pick you apart with a lot of facts that I have that you don't. I would have loved to logically pick apart a lot of your arguments. And I would have loved to agree with you on many things that I do agree with you on. And that is what a democracy, that is what Western civilization is. And a fascist, a piece of shit fascist, took that from all of us. Took you from all of us. The piece of shit that shot you, he is a fascist. But he was brainwashed by all the media and all the Democrats who have been on the media and been up on public figures, who have been up as public figures for the last 10 plus years, calling people like you a fascist. You're not a fascist, brother. They are the fascists, and we are left people that want you right people, because you're the right of our left. We are the yin and yang together that makes a healthy democracy. And I would passionately argue and debate you about everything, because that's what makes a healthy democracy. And that's what we need to do. We need to do what Charlie Kirk did. We need to talk. Let's talk. Um, I'll try to make shorter videos about specific topics on this and other things going from here. I just wanted this first upload to be raw and pay my respects and mourn with all of you. And I think the reason that this is hitting us all so hard is not, I didn't know Charlie Kirk. I've seen very little of his content before this happened. Now I've seen a lot more. But I'd seen some of his content. And his views, like 50-50. Agree with about 50%, disagree with about 50%. But 100% I respected him. 100% I valued him for what he was doing. 100% I believe that he's the kind of fellow citizen that I want, even though many issues we disagree on. 100% I would have been happy to be his neighbor. Have our kids grow up and play together, barbecue together, and argue about everything. 100%. Yeah. So, and I think this has hit a lot of us so hard. Those of us who, no matter what side of politics or what views of politics we have, it's hit us equally hard, because what he represented, whether we knew him, liked him, or not, doesn't matter. He represented America. He represented freedom of speech. He represented democracy. Democracy died when Charlie Kirk died. A force for democracy died when Charlie Kirk died. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, when he was murdered. Let's say it. And this is the other thing. I see all this left media and these left Democrats saying that he passed away, that he died. He didn't die. He was murdered. He's a martyr for democracy. He was murdered. So yeah, hold me to it too. Let's use proper words. Words are important. Let's not lie by omission. Let's not lie by manipulation. Let's be honest. Let's bring some honesty back. So thank you, Charlie Kirk, for what you've done for all of us. And to your family and close ones, I'm so heartbroken for you. Whether you believe in God or not, God bless America. God bless Western civilization. Bless America. Bless Western civilization. Because we are blessed to be part of it. Thank you.